Management is nothing but getting the things done through others, or it is working through other people. So you don't do the job, you make others work on behalf of you. Management is called as a goal-oriented process because management activities are directed towards achievement of the goals. Totally, we have three objectives for management. One is the organizational objective, second one is the social objective, third one is the personal objective. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. In this revision session of Chapter 1, we will be having a summary of Chapter 1. What are the important things you have to make a note of? And what are the things you need to understand in order to attend the questions which will be asked up to 11 marks. So in the Chapter 1, almost they will be asking you questions for up to 11 marks. That is 1 mark question, 2 mark question, 4 mark questions and 8 marks questions. So if you can understand the questions or if you can understand the concept well, you will be able to answer the questions easily. So let us see what this revision has for us. So we will be learning about the meaning of management, features of management, objectives of management, importance of management, nature of management, levels of management and functions of management. So these are the things which we will be discussing here. Now let us understand what is the meaning of the word management. So management is defined as a process of getting things done with the aim of achieving goals effectively and efficiently. So in management, it is nothing but achieving the goals of the organization. So whatever the goals of organization are there, so it has to be achieved efficiently and effectively. So efficiently means within the stipulated time and within the resources available, and effectively means with the right quantity and at the right time. So that we mean by effectively and efficiently. Then what is the meaning again of management? So we call management as a process. So why do we call it as a process? So process means the primary functions or activities that management performs to get the things done. So management is nothing but getting the things done through others, or it is working through other people. So you don't do the job, you make others work on behalf of you. So that is the skill of management. So in process of management, we will be just having what are the various functions or activities that management performs to get the things done. So in order to make others do the job, so what are those activities which will be involved in making others do the job here? So various functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. So these are the major functions of management. Now let us have an understanding of the features of management. Now management is a goal-oriented process. Management is called as a goal-oriented process because management activities are directed towards achievement of the goals. So you set the goals for the organization, and based on the goals of the organization, all the planning will be done, all the organizing, staffing, directing and controlling is done. So depending on the goals of the organization, all the functions of management will be performed. So that is why we say that management is a goal-oriented process. Then management is all pervasive. So why do we say management is all pervasive? Management exists at all the levels of the organization, whether it is the highest level, middle level or the lower level. In all levels of management, the organization, we can find management. In addition to that, management is found in all kinds of organizations, whether it is a social organization, economic organization, non-profit organization or any form of organization, we can see management. So whenever we see a group of people working together, it means that management is there. So if management is not there, there cannot be coordination between a group of people. So we say that management is all pervasive. So it exists at all levels in all kinds of organizations in all parts of the world. Then management is multidimensional. So management has various facets. So what are the various facets of management? So management of work. So management of work means what are the work to be done? So who has that we have to just decide. So in the management, we will be just thinking about what are the various functions to be done in the organization, and then management of people. So who are the people who will be doing the job? And lastly, management of operations means how the work will be done. So everything has to be decided in advance and it has to be told to the people. That is why we say that management is multidimensional, because management of work, management of people, management of operations. So we will be managing what kind of work is to be done, who are the people who will be doing the job, and how the job is to be done. So everything will be decided in advance. That is why we say that management is multi-dimensional. Then management is a continuous process. So why do we say that management is a continuous process? See, once we just have a plan for any of the project, so once we complete the project, again we get one more project, so we come back to the same. That is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. So this kind of a continuous process keeps on moving. So once the plans are implemented, again you control and again you plan, and again the same circle goes on. So that is why we say that management is a continuous process. So as and when the organization completes its first phase of the plans, again the next phase of plans will come, and again it has to be moving on. As and when the management or the organization moves forward, this management also will be there. That is why we say that it is a continuous process. Then management is a group activity. So if there is only one person working in the organization, we don't need management, because he will know what he has to do and what he will be doing. So it is his own will and wish. But then if there are a group of people who are working together, they need somebody to guide them, control them, direct them. So that is why we say that management is a group activity. So when the group of people work together, there should be management. If there is no management, then the group of people cannot work together. Then management is a dynamic function. So why do we call management as a dynamic function? Because it has to keep on changing. So depending on the kind of situation, the management has to change. So according to the type of function or according to the type of situation, management has to adapt itself. So that is why we say that management is a dynamic function. Then last one, management is an intangible force. So why do we call it as an intangible force? Because management cannot be seen, but it can only be felt. So if you find an organization which is well run and which is growing and expanding, then we say that such an organization has a very good management. So if there is good management, we'll get automatically there will be profits, automatically there will be growth, and automatically there will be expansion of the organization. So we say that management is an intangible force. So these are the features of management. So you can expect to get 8 marks question based on the features of management. So each and every point has to be explained, 2 to 3 sentences explanation for each and every point, so that if you can cover almost half to 3/4 page of the examination sheet, that will fetch you 8 marks. Then the next one is the important concept here is the objectives of management. So what are the objectives of management? So why management is essential and what are the main objectives? Organizational objectives. So this is the first objective. Totally we have 3 objectives for management. One is the organizational objective. Second one is the social objective. Third one is the personal objective. Now, in organizational objectives, again, it can be divided into 3 parts. The first one is the survival. So, in the organizational objectives, you can take the organization as a whole. So, it has one objective. What is that organizational objective? First one is the survival. Survival of the organization. So, the first objective of any management is survival. So just like in the accountancy, we have the going concern concept. What is this going concern concept? It says that we have to assume that the organization will stay for a very long period. So the same way here, survival means the management will work for the survival of the organization. The organization will live for a very long period. So that is why the first objective of the management is survival. So it has to take care to see that the organization will survive for a very long period. Then second one is profit of the organization. So until and unless the organization makes profits, it cannot survive. So if there are no profits in the organization, then whatever capital you have invested, it will start eating into the profits. The losses will just start eating into the capital, and as a result of which, at the end of the year, so the owner of the organization will be in a loss. So profits means profits are necessary for the survival of the organization. So until and unless the organization makes profits, it cannot move ahead. So second objective of the organization is making profits. So profit is the ultimate motive of every business. Then third one is growth of the organization. So any organization should grow. How do we know that there is growth in the organization? When you recruit more number of employees and when you have 3 or 4 more branches, only then we say that there is growth in the organization. So if you are able to have 2 or 3 more branches of your organization all over the city or all over the nation, then we say that there is growth in the organization. So survival, profit and growth. So these are the 3 organizational objectives. Then next, coming to the social objectives. Now what are the social objectives of the organization? First one is to have environmental friendly measures. So to see that you have proper facilities for pollution control. So whatever the waste is coming out of the organization, it is being disposed of in a environment friendly manner. And see, first one is environmental pollution, environment friendly measures. Then second one is creating employment opportunities. So social objective means we have to have environmental friendly measures and of waste disposal, and then we have to also create employment opportunities. So the business gets all its resources from the society, and as a result of which it has to give back something to the society. So employment opportunities are the social objectives of management. And lastly, the personal objectives. So personal objectives means it should have a career path for the employees. So it should see that the employees realize whatever the objectives they have, and it also creates a career path for them, and it will also give them the salary on time. So all these are the personal objectives. The management should see that the employee achieves his personal objectives and also he has a career for himself in the organization. So these are the various objectives of management. Then next concept is importance of management. So this you can expect for a 4 marks question, right? Explain any 4 importance of management. So you should be able to answer this question. So first one is management helps in achieving the group goals. So whatever the goals which have been decided for the organization, it will be decided by the top management, and these goals will be just converted into plans at every level of management. Depending on the goals set by the top management, the middle level management and the lower level management will be setting down the goals for their departments. So in this way, we can say that management helps in achieving the group goals. Then second one is management increases efficiency. Now what do we mean by efficiency? Completing the work on time. and with the available resources. So management ensures that each and every worker works as per his direction. So whatever has been expected from him, he has to work up to that mark, and in order to see if every individual works up to that mark, then he or she will be able to attain efficiency in his job. Then management creates a dynamic organization. So with the help of management, we will be able to see that there is a dynamic organization. Management helps the organization to adapt itself to the various situations. So if there is any new situation or if there is any threat to the organization, so management will just see what can be done and how to handle the situation. So in this way, we can say that it creates a dynamic organization. Then management helps in achieving the personal objectives. So whatever the personal objectives of each individual, it can be recognized. Whatever his talent is there, it can be recognized and encouraged. And in this way, we can ensure that the personal objectives also of the employees are achieved. Then management helps in the development of the society. So management, it is helping in the development of the society. How? When we are having more and more organizations, it will help in creating more employment. So with more employment, we will be able to achieve the goal of the company, of the government. That is, when we create more employment opportunities, it will in return increase the purchasing power of the people, as a result of which there will be more demand for goods. So when there is more demand for goods, there will be more industries. So we can see that there is overall development of the society. So these are the importance of management. Next, coming to the nature of management. So whether we can consider management as an art or management as a science or management as a profession. Now, suppose we say that management is an art. So the first thing is why we call management as an art. So what are the various arguments in support of management as an art? So first one is existence of theoretical knowledge. So to be called as an art, anything. Whenever we think of art, the first thing is art means dance form, painting, singing. So all these are called as art. Now, why do we call management as an art? The first argument is it has existence of theoretical knowledge. See, even for dance or singing or painting, it has theoretical knowledge. So the same way management also has theoretical knowledge. We have management theories and we have various management case studies which prove that the management theories are very, very practical in nature. They can be applied anywhere in the world. So that is why we call management as an art. Then second one is personalized application. So personalized application means just like in singing. So everybody will be taking all the same singing lessons, but then his or her style of singing will be according to his own personal application. So how you apply the art, so that becomes very, very important. The same way the management principles, whatever they are applied by the managers, he or she has to know which principle has to be applied when, under which situation. So that is why we say that personalized application. Then third one is based on practice and creativity. So management is based on practice and creativity. Just like singing and dancing, we need to have lot of practice and creativity in order to just excel in singing or dance. The same way management practices also, we need lot of practice and creativity for management. That is why, so all these are arguments which support management as an art. Then management as a science. So first one is systematized body of knowledge. Now why do we call management as a science? Because just like science, it has a systematized body of knowledge. So we have various books written by various management thinkers, so which says that management is a science. Then principles are based on experimentation. Now all the scientific principles, they are based on experiments. So even if you can just divide water. So water consists of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. The same way in management also, we have various principles which are based on experimentation. So there are so many managers who have experimented with the people and they have come up with theories. So the same way management principles are also based on experimentation. And lastly, universal validity. See, all the scientific principles, they have universal validity. Wherever you go, the scientific principles will work. The same way management principles also, they are working everywhere. So wherever you see management, you can make use of the management principles because it will work all around the world. So that is why we say that it has universal validity. Then the next one is management as a profession. So why do we call management as a profession? So first one is well-defined body of knowledge. So just like all other disciplines, whether it is accountancy, whether it is sociology, psychology, or whether it is economics or any other subject, so we have a well-defined body of knowledge. So that is why we can call management as a profession. Then second one is restricted entry. See, for the profession, we can take the example of lawyers, doctors, chartered accountants. So they are all called as professionals. So can we consider management as a profession? Yes, management also can be considered as a profession because just like we have the Doctors Association, Lawyers Association, so we have an association of management specialists. So where the entry is restricted. For the Doctors Association, only doctors can go there. For the Lawyers Association, only lawyers can go there. Similarly, for the Management Association, only the management professionals can go there. So that is why we say that entry is restricted. Then professional association. So as I told you earlier, there is a professional association for each profession. The same way management also has its own association. Then ethical code of conduct. So what is this ethical code of conduct? So whether it is the doctor or the lawyer, so they have their own rules and regulations of their professional, what you call as the professional ethics. The same way management also, they have their own ethics in management. Then the last one is the service motive. Now in this service motive, we should understand that the doctor should work with the service motive. He should not have profits in his mind when he is serving the people. The same way with the lawyer, he should work for justice. So whoever has whatever injustice has been done to his clients, it should be properly compensated. The same way management also should be done with the service motive. He should work for the betterment of the organization. So with all these points, support that management as a profession. Now the next concept is the levels of management. Now coming to the levels of management, the first level of management is the top management. The top management comprises of the chairman, CEO, president and the vice president. So only in the top management we have these few people. Now let us understand what are the functions of the top level management. It integrates diverse elements and coordinates the activities of different departments. Now, the function of the top management is integration of the various departments and coordination of the various departments of the organization. Second one is, it is responsible for welfare and survival of the organization. If the top management, if they are working, they will be working for the welfare and the survival of the organization. Third one is, they formulate overall organizational goals and strategies. So whatever the goals of the organization, whatever the strategies of the organization, they will be formulated by the top level management. And next one is, it is a very complex and stressful job. So even though the CEO, he'll just come for 1 hour and go or half an hour and go, the chairman also. So they will be actually the driving force of the organization. So they will be in the driving seat and the entire organization, they will be leading the organization. So that is why we say that it is a complex and a stressful job. So we can see here the top level, they are having the flag and they are moving ahead. So it is their job to lead the organization. Next, the middle management. So it is the link between the top and the lower level, usually known as the divisional heads. So the middle level management, so they are so if it is the top level, middle level and the lower level, so they are the link. So let us see what are their functions. They are responsible for implementing and controlling plans and strategies developed by top management. Now the top management will formulate the plans, they will develop strategies for the overall organization. The implementation process will be done by the middle level management. Then they are also responsible for the activities of the managers. So all the managers of the organization, they will be responsible to the middle level management. Now, third one is interpretation of the policies. So whatever policies which are framed by the top level, these people have to interpret it. So what are the policies and how do you interpret it and how do you implement it? That is done by the middle level, ensuring the department has necessary personnel. So they have to see that every department has the right number of manpower. So they have to ensure that, assign necessary duties and responsibilities. So when you have manpower, when you have appointed the people, you assign them the duties, you give them the responsibilities and make them do the job. So this is the job of the middle level management. Motivate the personnel. So motivate the personnel means each and every person who is working in the organization, he should have motivation to do the job. So until and unless he is motivated, he will not do. So that is why we have to motivate the personnel and cooperate with the other departments. So they have to cooperate with each other. So this is the work of the middle level. So if you can see here, this is the top level, this is the middle level, this is the lower level. So this middle level management, they will decide what these lower level management have to do, and the top level, they will just decide what these people middle level have to do, and they will just support. So we can see this hierarchy in the levels of management. Then the third one is the supervisory or the operational, or we also call this as the lower level management. So that this is the third level of management. So this, we can see this, all the technical aspects will be discussed here. Foremen and supervisors comprise the lower level of management. All the foremen and the supervisors, they will be lower level management. So these are the people who will be actually interacting with the workforce. So they will be the force who will be getting the actual job done with the help of the labor. So pass on instructions to them. So they will direct them. See here, you can see the supervisor who is directing the employees what to do in the organization, oversee their efforts. That is, they have to supervise whatever the job is being done in the organization. Responsible for minimum wastage. They have to ensure that there is least wastage of anything, whether it is the human resource or the material resource or time or anything. There should be minimum wastage and maintain quality of output. So whatever comes out of the plant, you have to ensure that it has quality. So the quality of the output has to be maintained. So these are the various jobs of the supervisory management. Next, coming to the functions of management. Now we have the functions of management in this picture. So first one is planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. So these are the various management functions. So whenever you asked any question, so management has 5 functions. The first function of management is planning. So what do we mean by the word planning? Planning is the function of determining in advance what is to be done and who is to do it. So planning is you are deciding in advance what is the work to be done and who has to do. So in planning, so you will be just deciding today what you have to do in the future. So the same way, if you have a plan of having 10,000 units of production by the end of the month, then you have to decide for every day what is the output and who has to do that output. So all this will be decided in the planning stage itself. So it is nothing but determining what is to be done and who has to do the job. Now, what are the various aspects here in planning? So first one is setting the goals in advance. See, already the top management would have decided the goals of the organization. So depending on the goals given by the top level, so each department will have its own goals. So setting the goals in advance. Then next one is develop a way to achieve them. So what are the various ways in which you can develop the goals of the organization? Then the next one is allocate the resources. So in order to achieve the goals of the organization, you have to allocate the resources, whether it is the manpower, whether it is the machinery, whether it is the materials or management. Everything has to be allocated. So until and unless there is allocation of resources, you cannot run the organization or you cannot plan. Then prepare the contingency plans. So in case the first plan fails, then there should be a backup plan. So suppose something goes wrong, then what you will be doing? So that we call it as the contingency plan. So the functions of management, you can expect a question here. It may be for a 4 marks question or a 8 marks question. Usually they'll ask it as a 8 marks question. Explain the functions of management. So you should be able to explain each and every function of management in detail. So first you write the meaning of the word planning and then you should write all the elements involved in the planning function. Then the next function of management is organizing. So organizing is the function of assigning duties, grouping tasks, establishing authority and allocating resources required to carry out a specific plan. So you can see here there are various parts of the jigsaw puzzle and they are trying to put it together. The same way organizing function of management means you are bringing together all the various resources of the organization. That is the 4 M's of the organization: men, materials, machines and money. See, all these 4 come together for organizing. So in the organizing chapter, we will be having the function of assigning duties. For E, you will be just dividing the entire organization into various departments. So you can organize it on the basis of the functions or on the basis of the products, whatever you are manufacturing. So if you are organizing the department on the basis of functions, then you will have a purchase department, sales department, finance department, accounts department, etc. So there will be various marketing department, etc. So the various departments, and in each department you create various positions, and for each position you have a duty and responsibility, and this objective. So this process of assigning duties and responsibilities to each position within the organization, that we call it as organizing. Then establishing authority and allocating the resources. So you will be establishing the authority of each personnel. So what authority he has and what is the responsibility he has, so that we have to decide, and allocating the resources required. So you will also have to give them the necessary resources. So mere giving authority is of no use. You also have to give him the resources in order to see that the plans are carried out. So all these will be seen in the organizing function of management. So in this, we can say this first one is the assigning of the duties. So you assign the duties for each and every person in the organization. Second one is grouping the task. So what are the various jobs to be done and group similar jobs to be grouped into tasks, and then establishing authority. So you give the authority to one of the person and see that all the similar job in each of the departments, they are being done as per the plans. So this is the second function of management. Then the third function of management is staffing. Staffing is finding the right people for the right job. So staffing is nothing but you are filling up the vacancies within the organization. So you have created departments, you have created positions within each department. Now the next job is to see that each position is being occupied by a person. So when you have each position occupied by the person, he will ensure that the work of his department will be done. In simple words, we can say that staffing is finding the right people for the right job. So what are the elements of staffing? The first one is recruitment. So what is this process of recruitment? So recruitment is you are putting an advertisement in the paper or the television or the internet or any other form of social media to see that you are attracting applications for the organization. You are telling people that there are vacancies to be filled up in the organization, and anybody who has the necessary qualifications, he or she can apply. So this we call it as the recruitment process. Now the second one is the selection. Now in the selection process, we will be just selecting only those candidates who have the necessary qualification and the experience. So after making them undergo so many tests, so we have so many tests, interviews, etc. And once he passes all the tests and interviews, he will be selected, and this process of selection will be one of the functions of staffing. Then the next one is placement and training of personnel. So once you have the persons who have been selected for the job, the next will be the placement and training. So you just have to see that they are properly placed as per the qualification they have, and also we have to ensure that they undergo the training. Proper training should be done so that they don't do any mistakes while doing the job. Then the next function of management is directing. It involves leading, influencing and motivating employees to perform the tasks assigned to them. So direction means you are leading the people, you are influencing the people and motivating the people to do the job. Now the elements of directing are supervision. Supervision is nothing but overseeing the people or the job, whatever the people are doing. Just see whether they are doing it in the right way or wrong, and if they are wrong, try to see that they do it in the correct way. Second one is motivation. Motivation means you have to encourage them to work. So you have to keep them motivated in order to see that the organizational goals are achieved. Then the leadership. So in the leadership qualities, the manager has to show his leadership qualities. He has to have an influence over his subordinates so that they obey him. And lastly, the communication. So there should be a free flow of communication among all levels of the organization. All these are the elements of the directing function. Then the last function of management is the controlling function. Controlling is the function of monitoring organizational performance towards the attainment of the organizational goals. So here you can see the top level, they are controlling the lowest level. So it is the function of monitoring organizational performance towards the attainment of organizational goals. So once you have planned for the entire organization, then you have to have a system of control. So just like you have a building plan for the building, and you have to ensure that the building is built as per the plan. The same way for an organization, you need to have the controlling function. So in order to see that all the activities of the organization, they are directed towards the achievement of the goals. So first one is establishing standards of performance. So what is the standard of performance which is expected from each and every individual that has to be set up? Then second one is measuring the current performance. So measure what is the actual performance of each employee of the organization. Then next one is comparing with the established standards. So you have already established a standard and you are measuring the actual job performance of each individual. Now you have a comparison. So whether he meets the standards, whether he is below the standard or above the standard, that we have to see. And lastly, taking corrective action. So in case he is below the standard, then what are the various measures we have to take in order to see that he reaches the standard? So these are all the functions of the controlling function of management. Then the next and the last important concept of this chapter is coordination. So you can expect an 8 marks question on coordination. So coordination is the essence of management process. So why do we call it as the essence of management process? So it is a process by which the manager synchronizes the activities of different departments. That is known as coordination. So coordination, without coordination, the organization cannot run. So if the production house has to run, then there should be coordination with the stores department, with the accounts department, with the finance department and the purchasing department. So why do we have so many departments here? See, in order for the production house to run, they need stores. So the stores or the stock has to be released from the stores department. So if there has to be stock in the stores department, it has to be purchased by the purchase department. If the purchase department has to purchase, then they have to be financed by the finance department. And if the finance department has to finance, then there should be an okay by the top management. So we can see that there should be absolute coordination within the organization, and until and unless there is coordination, there cannot be any management. So it is the process where we will be, all the departments of the work organization will be working together and they will all be moving towards the achievement of the organizational goals. Now, if we are looking into the features of coordination, the first feature is it integrates group efforts. So whatever the efforts of the organization, if the organization has 20,000 people working together, so it will integrate all the efforts of the 20,000 people. So that is what we call as coordination. That it ensures unity of action. So unity of action means each department will have its own goals and they have to have unity of achieving their own goals of the department. When each department achieves its own goals, then the entire organization will achieve its objective. So that is why we say that it ensures unity of action. Then it is a continuous process. So as long as there is work going on in the organization, we should see that there is coordination. So that is why we say that coordination is a continuous process and it is an all-pervasive function. See, even if there is no coordination between one employee of another employee in the same department, things will not go well. So it should exist and it is there at all levels of management and everywhere. It is responsibility of all managers. So coordination function, to ensure that there is coordination in the organization, it is the main responsibility of the managers. Then it is a deliberate function. The manager has to see that there is coordination within the organization. So that is why we say that it is a deliberate function. Then importance of coordination. So why we say that coordination is important? First one is growth in size. If you want to have the growth in the size of the organization, then we should have coordination between all the departments. Then functional differentiation. So the coordination helps to see that there is whatever the functions of each department, they are all well coordinated and they do their functions. And lastly, the specialization. So coordination ensures that there is specialization of activities within the organization. So in this way, we can see that the coordination is the essence of management. So without coordination, we cannot run an organization. So this is just a summary of the first chapter. If you can remember all these points, then it will be easy for you to just attempt at least 11 marks of this chapter. So you can expect at least one mark question, 2 markers 1, 4 markers 1, 8 markers 1. So it is important chapter with relation to the exam. Please go through this video well and try to remember the points so that you'll be able to answer any questions related to this chapter. So with this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all understood whatever I have told you. Thank you.